too many times on the border. But how do you break up with your friend? I know there's no use to confront her, but how do you say this is the end? I'm through being taken for granted. I'm the one you call when nobody's home. Being with you means just disappointment. I'm the last escape, so I've been told. Don't bring that bomb up to my door again, my friend. You know that you've been crying wolf too many times before this time. I know it. Been there, I've done that. Those words are just sand in my hair. So talk if you like. The words will be words till you bring them to life. So talk if you like. Welcome to the show. This is Let's Catch Up with Mike. I am your host, Mike Vatter. That is Talk, Talk, Talk by St. Michael featuring Anya Gold. And this is a quick episode. I know I always say that, and then it's not. But, these solo shows where I don't have guests are usually much quicker. And I know some of my viewers, some of you guys, some of y'all, I got to work on that. I know it's no excuse. Some of y'all really appreciate these short episodes. This will be a short one, though. I just want to talk about the hashtag I've seen a lot lately. It's hashtag defund the media. And it's really starting to strike a nerve with me. It's something that is, it really came about under the Trump administration because he had a really a hate relationship with the media. The only media he ever seemed to have a love-hate relationship with was Fox News, and any conservative news media outlets, and it was pretty much just Fox News that he had a love-hate relationship with, but mostly love. But any other media he deemed an enemy of the state, and I believe that is a direct quote or pretty close to a direct quote of his. But the idea that the media is bad or all bad is a fallacy that I would like to crush or at least shed some light on. The media is there. There's no such thing as the media. Let me just get that out there. There's no one entity that is the media. There are, of course, bad reporters, and there are, of course, great reporters. And the days of Edward R. Murrow and Walter Cronkite and Tom Brokaw, those days are gone. And the days of tabloid news reporting, the tabloid newspapers like the Inquirer and the Inquisitor are also gone. Those newspapers are really no longer around. You can still find, tabloid magazines and tabloid newspapers at the checkout stand, so to speak. But those are really not as prevalent as they were in the late 80s and early 90s. There's lots of, websites and social media sites that have tabloid news where those magazines used to prevail are now online. And print media is not what it used to be either. And there's good and bad out there. And just about anything you want to find is available online, good, bad, or indifferent, as we all know. And social media has its place in that. And there's wonderful social media out there. I hope I'm a part of that. And there's horrible social media out there. And I know I'm probably a part of that as well. But my point in telling you all of this, and I hope this is not news to most of you, is and the argument can be made, there's good cops and bad cops and good teachers and bad teachers and good priests and bad priests, and anything you want to point your finger at, there's good and bad in everything, right? There's good doctors and bad doctors, and there's anything you want to say is a bad thing, there's also good in it, and anything you want to say is a good thing, there's also bad in it. But this defund the media idea, and I'm not saying it because I am and have been and hopefully will continue to be a member of what people call the media. For a lot of my adult life, most of my career has been in what people call the media, and I'm a proud member of the media in many ways. I have a press pass. I have been paid by for my career. I've worked for very, very liberal media outlets and very, very conservative media outlets. And the conservative ones, not so much by choice. They just happen to own some of the more moderate and more liberal organizations I've worked for. And it's just the way it happens sometimes. Companies get bought out, and the parent company of the more liberal or local place I've worked for has been more conservative, or vice versa. It just happens. The grocery store that you love, the mom and pop grocery store, gets bought out by a big corporate conglomerate, and it's no longer the mom and pop place that you loved, right? So it does happen, and that's just the way things go. But I'm getting a little bit off track, which as is my want sometimes. But my point in telling you this is, when you say defund the media, it's not like saying defund the police, or defund the library, or defund a core entity that you're thinking of, because there is no one media. Um, when you say you're upset about a news story that was run because somebody that you love or care about was portrayed poorly, or a politician or a celebrity that you care about was portrayed poorly, or you don't like a certain network and you don't like the way that they portrayed a cause that you care about. um, when you say defund the media, or you say you don't want to support the media, it's much, much broader than that, because the media is not just the news. The media is also the TV shows that you like. It's the sitcoms, it's the dramas, it's the SVUs, and the Blue Bloods, and Mom, and Young Sheldon, and Big Bang Theory, and the local news, and PBS, and HBO, and all of those things are the media, and the newspaper that you may read, or the social site that you go to get your news. Your local newspaper, your favorite magazine may have a Facebook page. That's the media. This podcast is the media. So when you say defund the media, you're talking about something very, very broad, and that's a very slippery slope. And that's not a term that I like to use, loosely. Slippery slope, I mean. The media is a very large, encompassing term. It's a very umbrella term. So when you say defund the media, you're talking about a lot of things in a lot of people's lives. It would be like saying defund education. What does that mean? Make everyone stupid? Um, get rid of textbooks? Get rid of learning? I do agree there are some horrible slants to news coverage lately. I think, for me, I believe, having worked in local news and having worked in local programming for entertainment and news purposes, that the big tonal shift came when when the news stopped referring to the news as news. When we heard it, it can always be pinned down to a certain specific, almost, date, when we stopped hearing the news referred to as a broadcast, and it started being referred to as a show. And I think it was the early 90s. I think it was around the time of the O.J. Simpson trial. um, when people stopped what they were doing, to the whole country stopped what we were doing to watch this trial. And it was when Court TV and True TV and channels like that became, seeing them was already kind of a thing. 24-hour news was already starting. But when 24-hour news networks became the norm of cable, right? Because they saw money in viewership of this cycle of people are going to tune in to see, what there's a term that the news outlets have used for years, called, the term is, if it bleeds, it leads. Right? So if you've got the kind of break that down, if you've got a story about, you know, a, three-legged puppy, I'm just trying to think of something that's cute. If you've got a story about a three-legged puppy that is rescued from the pound, and that's a cute, heartwarming story, and you've got a story about a bank robbery and a police officer is shot and killed. Okay, so you've got the heartwarming story of the cute puppy that you were going to lead with. That was going to be your opening story, your leading story. And you say, "Oh, this is a cute story. Everyone's going to love this. This is perfect for the 5 o'clock news or 6 o'clock news, whatever time your local news broadcast is." And that's going to be our leading story because it's cute and heartwarming and it's sweet. Or this local charity raised $1 billion for its cause, and everyone's going to love this. It's a heartwarming story. But then something salacious happens, a sex scandal, or someone dies, or there's a beheading at a local bank when the bank teller's head gets caught in the vault door as it closes. That's salacious, it's bloody, it's gory. The story that bleeds, the story that causes blood, the story that is like the train wreck we can't stop watching, if it bleeds, it leads. The story that causes gore and blood and people can't stop staring at it is the story that's going to knock the happy story off the lead. If it bleeds, it leads. So we've become a society that feeds the story that bleeds, and that story will lead. So the story that bleeds leads, and that's our fault as viewers. And when we encourage through our viewership of these stories being the top of the news cycle, when we click on those stories, when we watch those stories, when we tune in for those stories rise to the top. And the media outlets, the news outlets know that. They know you're going to watch them. They know I included, are going to watch these stories. And we're going to talk about these stories. They're going to become the story we talk about at work the next day. They're going to be the story we talk about on the phone. They're going to be the story we text about and we repost because it's salacious. It's sexy. And I don't mean sexy in a erotic kind of way. I mean sexy in a it's exciting kind of way. Like, did you hear about the politician caught in the sex scandal? Did you hear about the train wreck that killed 500 people? Did you hear about the ladder on the highway that caused a 50-car pileup? That's exciting. It's adrenaline rush. The story about the puppy that has 3 legs that was going to be euthanized and put in the incinerator that no one was even going to know about. The story of that puppy that got rescued at the 11th hour and was found a wonderful home, in comparison, no one cares about. No one's going to tune in to see that, and that story isn't going to get any ratings because in comparison no one cares about a story like that. And yeah, maybe we do, but not enough of us to make a noise about it. And so, in the job that I have now, and I don't talk about my paycheck job a lot on this podcast, and that's by design and also by contract. I can't talk about a lot of what I do because of my contract, but I can talk about kind of the things that I do without talking about who it is I do it for. But just this week, I have transcribed, I'm looking at my notes because I didn't want to forget and say the wrong thing. But I've transcribed the reports from the George Floyd murder trial. I have done in the same day. Right after that, I did closed captions for a documentary on big mountain skiing. And then the very next morning, I was talking to an affiliate in the United Kingdom about live entertainment during the time of COVID. So that's what the media does on a regular basis. It's boring stuff. Well, the George Floyd murder trial is not boring. That's something that needs to be talked about. But I mean, to change gears like that, to go from talking about a murder trial to big mountain skiing to how live entertainment has forever been changed because of the coronavirus, that's my daily life, to change gears that quickly. So if we make a typo in a closed captioning, or we accidentally say, you guys instead of y'all, or if we accidentally say Prince Philip was 99 when he was actually, or we accidentally say he's 98 instead of 99, or we accidentally say he was 100 instead of he was 99, and we fix it later and we have to retract it later, and that retraction gets hidden. We didn't mean any disrespect to the royal family. We didn't mean any disrespect to, you know, I'm totally making this up. We didn't mean any disrespect to the guy who invented Legos because, we mispronounced his name because it's Dutch and it's very hard for an American to pronounce. Um, you know, we didn't mean any disrespect to the family. When we go back and retract the story, or we fix the story later, and that retraction or that fix gets hidden because something more exciting and salacious that the viewers want to see takes precedence over that. Um, yeah, is it shitty reporting? Maybe. Is it the station manager's fault? Maybe. Is it the CEO of the big conglomerate who owns the small mom and pop station's fault? Maybe. Is it the fault of the person who typed out the closed captioning? Maybe. Maybe it's the fault of everyone involved. Maybe it's nobody's fault. Maybe it just happened. Maybe no one told us and we didn't know any better. Um, but the point is, when you blame all of the media because of one reporter's bad reporting, or you blame all of the media because of one talk show host who did a really shitty job interviewing somebody, or you blame all of the media because of, four TV stations in your town covered a story badly, and you want to defund all of the media because you don't like the way something happened, or was covered, or the way something happened was covered. It's doing a disservice to uh, an entity that has brought us everything from the weather, which we rely on every day, to breaking news, to whether somebody has been someone escaped from jail, or someone has robbed a bank, or there's a dangerous person living in your neighborhood, to you know the election results, to whether or not there's a storm coming, a major dangerous hurricane, to you know uh, anything you need to know on a daily basis, to Sesame Street, to what time your favorite show is on, to what's in your favorite show. um, all of that is the media. So I'm not trying to change anyone's minds. I'm just trying to kind of caution people, when it comes to um, and I'm really big on opinions. You guys, you all know that. I'm really big on opinions, and I'm not trying to censor anybody. Um, and I'm really big on protests, and I'm really big on First Amendment. Um, and I want everyone to go out there and protest and have their First Amendment rights and scream and yell from the rooftops. When you feel wronged, yes, get out there and say it, and scream and yell, and you know beat on trash cans, and hold up your signs and say, I was wronged. But make sure you know what it is you're screaming and yelling and feeling wronged about, and telling people your message clearly. Because if your message is lost, there's no point in screaming it. um, and make sure you have people in your corner who will back you, because I'm one of them. I'll back you. I will back your cause, sometimes to a fault. I'll get out there with you, and sometimes, to my own detriment. And when it's safe to get out there again, I'll be out there with you. I mean, a lot of that I've been out there with my signs and protesting, and I've gotten my butt kicked a couple of times, verbally and physically, by the wrong people at the right place, or the right people in the wrong place, or whatever the term would be. um, you know Protesting, and I'll do it. But I know what I'm protesting, and I know why I'm out there. And so you should be too. So yeah, spread the hashtag, be a couch activist, and be an in-person activist, and get out there and yell and scream. But make sure your message is clear or it's going to get lost. And if your message is clear and you know what it is you're fighting for, I'll fight with you. So in the meantime, please tune in again. I appreciate you, and I'm always in your corner. And if you need anything, reach out. Don't forget to tune in next time because I've got more exciting topics coming up. I hope this message was clear, and if you need any clarification on my message, be sure to reach out. I'm going to close out with some more music. I hope you all enjoy it. I am working on that. I promise. It's just habit and I am trying to break it. I'm really good about doing it in person. For some reason though, I get this camera in front of me and I don't know why. I just gotta like, I gotta just, it doesn't even taste right to say you guys. And I don't mean it as a gender thing. It's just, I don't even know why I do it. I say y'all, I say kids, I say so many other things in life. I don't say you guys. I say so many other non-gender specific things, and it's just like it's a mental block for some reason. I think it's because so many TV shows and now I'm getting into the weeds again. So many TV shows, even modern ones, even ones that are so inclusive like Schitt's Creek, um, David and Alexis, who are so good at using non-gender specific terminology. If you notice, they go, "You guys, oh my gosh, you guys." They say "you guys" all the time, and I think it's just become part of my vernacular again. And I'm really working on it. So please, hold me to that. I'm really trying to get out of that habit again. So I don't mean to do it, and I'm really sorry. I don't mean to offend. I'm working on it. I'm really, really trying hard. Somebody called me out on it on the last episode where I had Courtney and Love on talking about intersectionality, and I know I did it like 150 times in that episode, and I'm so sorry. It was not intentional, and it never is intentional. So you all, please tune in. Please continue to tune in. I really appreciate it. And here is some more music for you. Love you. See you next time. I've been too many times on the border. Yeah, don't bring that bomb to my door. Get my friend in my head. I have walked too many times, but it's not away. Been there, I've done that. This words are just sand in my head. So